Showtime. Thanks so much for joining me, brother. So I guess we can just jump right in. Give me the backstory on how you wanted to get kind of into entrepreneurship, how that started, and then lead me from, I guess, when that spark first kind of happened all the way up till today.
Okay. I guess I have a pretty long history of wanting to become an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
I think it all started when I was in middle school. And I was tired of, I was a good student. I was a class president, getting good grades and stuff, but I was getting tired of this education system in Korea and I wanted to do something different. So I started filming movies with my friends and then ended up posting on YouTube and got rewards from the video. And from that point, I was like, oh, wait, there's so much more fun things to do other than studying. Because at the time, I see a lot of people who study hard and then go get a regular job, and they spend rest of their life, just working for the company. And in my head, I didn't want it to become like that. My dad was a businessman, so I think since middle school, I had that kind of drive. But I moved to high school, and university. Priorities shift, right? The priorities become the schoolwork. I have to maintain my grades. I have to get into good university. You know how Asian parents have a good expectation of you. And after a while, my entrepreneurship drive kind of went down as I played game. I wasted quite a bit of time there. But then at one point, something hit. And that moment that I had in middle school came back in. And I was like, I got to do something about my life. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the rest of my life at the company. So I decided to take on a photographic video editing type of business where I edit videos and photos for other people. And I jumped into that business. And then I worked for a while. And then I jumped into another business that does a website. So I jumped around a lot until I found the one that I can stick with, which was providing a software solution for local businesses around my area.
Mhm.
And nowadays I do full time on providing website solutions or software solution or automation solution for the business in Ottawa right now. And then as I was doing that, I realized I could definitely scale. This might sound ambitious, but I wanted to grow my business to 100 million plus. And I realized I have a chance of growing my software agency from 0 to 100 mil, but I thought there was more chances and possibility when I started a brand new startup. And I try to pick up pain points from the customer profile that my current clients are having, which was a lot of website related problems. And it's decided to create a product called LaunchGen that automatically builds landing page using AI. Yeah. So it's kind of my journey.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's it's not an easy thing to do with parents who especially want you to go to school and get a job and do that whole route to jump into entrepreneurship. So massive respect there. So then let's talk launch gen. I know you just launched. Is it considered beta? Is it considered alpha? The version that you just launched now. Let's talk about that, man. I think it's such a cool product that I feel like honestly could just talk about for hours. So yeah, let's go into that.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So LaunchGen, I guess the basic concept is that it turns your product idea or business idea into a landing page. But it's currently I wouldn't even say beta, it's an alpha version because I just wanted to test it out the concept. So reason why I actually came up with the LaunchGen is not because I was in love with the idea itself. I wanted to test my theory of building a startup from 0 to 1. And my theory was that if I have an idea and if I think the idea is good, it solves the problem. Instead of building the MVP right away, I will go it out and market it and see if there's any traction and if there's any people willing to try it out or pay for it. And once I get the traction, then I will create a very, very simple beta and test it out. In that way, I stay agile and
Mhm.
very, I guess, like fast cycle loop. And then launch gen was one of the concepts that I thought there was a small gap and it's some idea that is worth a shot, has some probability of going 0 to 1 and hopefully to something bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the story behind why I launched the launch gen.
Oh,
And yeah,
yeah, cool, man.
and oh yeah. Sorry.
How do you, I guess, what was the process like for determining? Because it sounds like you had a number of ideas, as a lot of entrepreneurs do. You got so many businesses you want to start or you want to get into. How do you kind of determine or figure out which idea has the highest probability are the highest likelihood of becoming successful? What's your formula like? What's your process like? How do you determine that?
So I have if I make it sound fancy, I have a proprietary AI system that grades it, but pretty much it's a chatbot prompt that I came up with that grades and does run a competitor analysis, basically does full business report, and I can compare and score my business ideas and figure out what would be the best idea that I can take on right now in a specific time frame. And launch gen was one of the things because I wanted to validate and release my product in 10 days. That was my goal. So I put it in the system that okay, my goal is 10 days. I have this skill set and I think there are some of these problems that I can solve right now in 10 days. And then AI cooks something up and then it gives me some different ideas, and launch gen was one of the things.
Mm,
But if I were to break down that process, I normally start with the problem that I have because I can relate I can relate the most.
mhm.
If not, I go on Reddit or I go into acquire.com and then I just look at the products and see if there's anything that's catching on, if there's any trends, and I pick from that.
Cool. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I like the proprietary. That was good. So on that, I guess, what's been the response like? Because I found you through social media. I think was our first touch point. So what's been the response like to some of the videos and some of the stuff you've put out? Has been pretty welcoming, or how's that process been?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty welcoming, and I got more business connection than I expected, like than the users. And
Mm,
a lot of people from Nigeria and Ghana was watching my video and then sending me DMs. And I connected with a few founders in Nigeria, and then some businessmen who wants to do a partner with me in Ghana. So that was interesting.
that's really cool. So then, has there been is the plan at some point to try and bring in partners to scale, or are you going to keep that bootstrap mentality and try and just go as lean as possible for as long as possible?
I guess that ties into my plan. My plan is to grow this as fast as I can and then either crash as fast as I can or succeed as fast as I can.
Mm,
So I'm more than open to find a business partner to take me from 0 to 1 to 10 to 100 really fast.
mhm.
But in my opinion, in order to do that, well, I haven't been successful in startup area, so take it as a grain of salt. But what I think it's important is market. I think marketing is very important in nowadays startup. And like, I don't know, have you heard of Cluely?
Mm,
Yeah. Cluely went viral because of a social media video, right? And then they went viral, they got the attention, they had the concept, but then they refined it over time after they got the money. So I'm looking at it at a similar perspective, but right now my product is so beta and it's not even close to where I wanted the product to be at right now. So I'm not like really focusing on making my social media go viral. I just want to get initial users to test my product out, refine it in about a week or two time frame. And once my product has reached the point that I think it's okay for me to start going viral, then maybe I will look for a partner who can help me out with the social media concept so I can focus more on the technical side so that I can match up with the hype that my social media business partner will bring in eventually.
mhm.
But I do have an experience of making viral videos because I ran dropshipping store before, and I had like several videos that I went like 3, 4 million. Well, but if you consider 3, 4 million viral, I had several videos that consistently hit 3, 4 million views. So I think I know how to go viral.
Mhm.
But I just never tested out on like startups or software as services type of thing. Yeah, 100% more than open for looking for business partners and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So let's jump into that drop shipping thing because I feel like a lot of people want to hit it big on their first one. And you said something very interesting where you said either I want to kind of crash fast or I want to succeed fast. So that doesn't just come, I don't think that mentality just comes overnight on your first project. So that kind of shows a little bit of the maturity in the space. So besides drop shipping or even including drop shipping, what are kind of all the business verticals or things that you've tried previously?
Well, I tried trading. That didn't went well. That was my first thing. And then I did another AI companies. Like past 2 years, I've started like try to do a lot of AI companies. And I think me and my friend came up with like 3 or 4 products. But and we got to the investment phase, but we had like our priorities weren't straight. So we were focusing more on just making side income on the side and the startup products for our just side projects that we spend time when we have time. But
Mm,
we have, yeah. So yeah, those are the verticals that I explored.
mhm, cool, man. So I guess quite a bit of my audience has a lot of first time founders and people who are kind of just, toying with the idea of going full time into entrepreneurship. So from that and from having kind of like a pretty vast, I guess, reach
Yeah.
and vast experience on different ideas and verticals, what is one of the things that you definitely want to tell someone or tell yourself before getting into it for the first time?
That's what I would say because like I can't really give them an idea, but yeah, choose one thing, but choose wisely, and once you choose it, move fast.
Mm,
Yeah, the reason why I said that is because I had like when I was starting out my journey, I was like an octopus. I had like octopus end. Like I was touching on this business, that business, this business. So my effort was just spread it all across. So I never got out 100% of what I really wanted. And back then, I thought that was a smart thing to do, right? Like, oh, it's just like you become a CEO that can handle multiple things at the same time. But as a first time entrepreneur, first time going into this business where space is super competitive, I think one of the best leverage you can have for yourself is going all in at one idea. But choose it wisely. Don't spend like, of course, don't go into analysis paralysis, but choose one thing. And if you focus on it and then if you move fast, then that will give you enough experience to move on to the next thing if the first one doesn't fail. Because even though a lot of things that I did wasn't really successful, even though I was making money, I guess the success criteria is different for everybody. But for me, it wasn't successful. But from that experience, I actually learned a lot of things, including what I just mentioned to you right now. So now I'm able to cut off a lot of noises and focus on what's matter, and that's actually driving me faster.
yeah, choose wisely, move fast. I like that. How are you blocking that noise out? Are you, shut yourself in a closet like Hormozy did for a long time with just his monitor? Or what's that process?
Well, for me, like I started to do a like cardio workout
Mm,
because before I did a lot of like stationary workout, like just push-ups, weight trainings. But then when I push myself into a cardio workout, that clears my mind and I don't really listen to music anymore. And I just listen to tape and just mindset resetting podcast to clear the gunk out in my head that I've been collecting from watching social media. And honestly, I think it's, and oh yeah, and a lot of the time podcasts really help give you that motivation drive. And then after you watch podcasts, from 30 minutes to 1, 2 hour after you take a shower, you eat a meal, that thing resets, right? But I think working out and pushing your body to the limit where you sweat so much, that allows you to break that barrier. And for me, it wasn't the weight training. Of course, weight training is really hard, but if you push your entire body, I think one of the best way to push yourself in like entire body is to run or to do martial arts like boxings or jujitsu, because in that way your whole body is exhausted, including your mental, and I think that puts yourself into a different level. And once you have a taste of that dopamine hit, all of a sudden, so I'm still attracted to social media or distracted by that.
mm,
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a muscle that you just have to grow over time, and then it's something that like gradually progresses.
I feel the same way. I started training jujitsu last year, and it's just like you're only like you can't even be thinking about other stuff because you're so exhausted. And I used to box as well, so yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like it kind of resets everything. And then I did the music kind of detox and music cleanse for a while as well, where you don't listen to any music; it's just podcasts, and it's such a different. You have such like an almost like I don't know how much into this I would believe or I've really gotten, but like frequencies, it's like you're like vibrating at like a different frequency, it feels like, because you're not like kind of up and down as much. You're just like, I'm at a consistent kind of like execution. It's pretty cool. And I like that you said that because that's something that I don't think I've heard anyone articulate quite as well. So good on you for that.
Yeah,
So
that's I believe in the quantum things and all the frequency thing because I believe in science and religion. When you look into quantum, like quantum science and quantum theory, everything is like kind of a frequency, and like the way you manifest and change your reality, like it actually can affect the reality.
Mhm.
So I'm not a too expert in that area, but I believe in it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something that I've been kind of, I don't know, just trying to, I guess, wrap my brain around a little bit more in the past few months as well. And I don't know that it's manifesting necessarily, but shifting focus where it's like if you're looking for a red car, you're only going to see red cars. Right. And the same thing with problems or with opportunities is like I know so many people where, they're looking for an issue. They're looking for something, some reason that they're not going to win. And all they can find is reasons not to win. And it sounds like what you're able to do is even when these things fail, like you've got such a solution and such a goal focused outlook, like the 100 million plus, right? Maybe it's a billion. That's the real goal. That's just a little scary to say out loud right now, but that's the same for me, right? Like I want to hit that $1 billion mark. And so being focused on the opportunities that can actually get you there versus the reasons that you're not going to make it, right? It's a really cool thing. So
Always had that mentality, I think.
mm,
And I think that comes from my parents because my dad was pretty ambitious. My mom and dad was like very ambitious people. And I think they kind of subconsciously injected that in my head when I was young. So I always had that mentality. But having that mentality versus actually taking an action is a different thing, right?
mhm,
And I think at one point, like I mentally and physically, I hit a rock bottom around university when I was like finishing up the university. And after that, I felt like I needed to do something to change. And working out was one of the things that really got me back into having that mentality back, like turn it back on, and then using that as a fuel to drive myself forward.
interesting. Okay. That's cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that. That's do your parents run businesses as well or
Yeah, my dad runs I think he runs like cybersecurity software business in Korea. He yeah, he used to work with bank and militaries,
mm,
but well, unfortunately my dad passed away like 80 years ago. So now I just have to live to his legacy. But I think he taught me a lot of things enough things for me to proceed with my life. So
mhm.
yeah. But yeah, he definitely ran business and I think I have his blood.
That's cool, man. I'm sorry to hear that he passed away, but that's really cool that that legacy gets to live on through you now, and that these huge goals and things are going to come to fruition. So it's I'm very very appreciative that you're giving me your time. I know this is early stages of two billionaires speaking, so it's really cool. And, in 10, 15 years time when we could sit down on a yacht somewhere and recreate this, I think that'll be a very, very nice moment to reminisce.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
So I guess going off of that, what's the next 5 years look like for you? Let's say LaunchGen is the vehicle to get you there. What does the next 5 years perceivably look like?
I want to exit if the five-year perceivable is that I want to exit the launch chain within 2 to 3 years. And
Mhm,
if I were to say this before, they said it's impossible, but I think nowadays it's possible. So I want to retire and do the things that makes me happy and maybe spend some time with my family.
mhm,
But my projected time period right now is three.
mhm,
And within that 3 years, I want to be able to somehow grow the company and exit it.
mhm.
So that's what I'm looking at. Like I could imagine myself in 3 years, like talking to one of the Fortune 500 companies. That's where I see myself.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm so excited for you. I think that's gonna like this tool. I
Thanks.
think is such a specific gap in the market, but I think it's such a great one because people are they want to do more, and to have an opportunity to do that with a tool that is specifically designed to give you an option to get it done precisely. I think is like such a brilliant like pinpoint in the market. So I mean, like genuinely very like not jealous, but I'm so excited that somebody did this idea. And I'm so excited because I've thought about something like this where it's like, oh man, somebody should do that. And now to see you doing it, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's so
Thanks.
yeah, man. I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited to see what these next few years for you are like, and I'm excited to see the news when you guys when you do exit for a couple 100 million. And man, I'm so pumped. Is there anything, any shots you want to call for the future? Is there anything you want to have as maybe a callback that a couple of years time you're gonna come back to the clip and be like, "Yep,
That's my shot.
heck, dude, that's awesome." All right, man, perfect. Is there any other words you want to leave with the people?
I guess maybe it's time for me to talk about launch gen. The entire interview has been more about me like talking random stuff.
Yeah, tell the people about LaunchGen, where to find it, and what it's all about.
Yeah, I definitely need to get a new domain because launchgen-demo.vercel.app is not the right. If you want, I guess for those people who have an idea who have a business concept but don't want to spend hours or $100 building a landing page, come
Mm.
to launch Gen demo or sell.app, and feel free to create a landing page. Right now, it's only one design, but you can do all the core functionality, which is collecting leads, doing analytics, and having a landing page that you can share it to other people. It's completely free for now, so make sure to check it out.
Yeah, man. That's so sick. I'm very, very excited to see what Launch Gen's gonna do and see what you're gonna do here in the future. Even if it crashes and burns here, then the next thing is gonna be 10 times as big. But this old man, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. I appreciate sharing the ambition and sharing your journey, man.
No, I appreciate you for inviting me to the podcast. It was really fun to talk about myself.
Everyone's favorite topic, right? So appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye, fam.